Welcome to today's deep dive.
Yeah.
You've sent us a fascinating, really interesting mix of articles on AI and financial crime. And to be honest, I'm ready to kind of geek out on this. It seems like you're all interested in not just the what when it comes to AI fighting fraud, but the how, the why this matters, like right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really fascinating how AI is going from just a buzzword into this critical tool.
Yeah.
Especially in finance, when we talk about fraud detection and then, regulatory compliance, there's a lot to explore from the actual techniques they're using to like how it changes the game for everybody.
Okay, let's unpack that a little bit. I think when we think about financial crime, we all have a general idea, right? Credit card fraud. We probably all felt that sting. And then there's money laundering, which always sounds a little movie-ish to me. And then there's cybersecurity, which is always in the headlines. But why does it even matter? I mean, isn't this just a problem for like big institutions?
You'd be surprised, actually. These financial crimes are not just like these abstract concepts, the kind that play out on Wall Street. They have very real consequences for all of us. Every time you swipe your card, even shopping online, you're part of this system.
So it's not about protecting some like faceless corporation. It's about protecting ourselves.
That's right. Think about it. Increased costs for, well, everyone. The potential to destabilize markets, even interest rates on loans. It erodes trust in the entire system, right? That's where AI comes in.
Right, AI. It's everywhere we turn these days. But in the world of finance, is it living up to the hype?
We're seeing real progress, actually, using AI to fight back against financial crime. But to understand how, we need to kind of demystify AI a little.
Yeah, because I think for a lot of us, when we hear AI, we think robots and spaceships. It's not something most people understand.
Fair enough. In the simplest terms, AI in finance, it's about creating computer systems that can perform tasks that normally require human intelligence, right? So these systems use different approaches, things like machine learning. That's where algorithms actually learn from data to make predictions. Or deep learning, which uses these artificial neural networks to analyze information, sort of similar to the human brain, actually. And the common thread here, AI can analyze mountains of data, right? Way faster than any human ever could.
So it's not just about being faster. It's about connecting the dots that humans might miss, finding those hidden patterns.
Exactly. Imagine a human analyst trying to spot a pump and dump scheme, but it's happening across millions of transactions. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, right? But AI can sift through that all that data, detect unusual activity, and then flag it instantly. It's like having a superpowered detective, but it's working 24/7.
That's kind of mind-blowing. So if we're talking about specific examples, where is this actually making a difference?
Well, fraud detection is a big one. And I'm not just talking about credit card fraud, although that's certainly, a major area where AI is making strides. We're talking about AI analyzing spending patterns to detect identity theft, flagging fake accounts, even identifying fraudulent insurance claims.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But what about something like money laundering, where the whole point is to make dirty money look clean? How can AI even touch that?
See, that's where AI's ability to analyze complex patterns to find those little anomalies, the things that would totally escape us, it's crucial. AI can track money as it moves across borders, It can identify these unusual spending habits. AI can even analyze text, like text messages, communications to uncover those hidden connections. It's like putting together this giant jigsaw puzzle. But AI is working on it at warp speed.
So AI is shining a light into those dark corners of the financial system, the places that used to be impossible to monitor effectively.
Exactly. And that brings us to cybersecurity. Think about it. Every day, new threats, new ways for criminals to try and steal data, steal your money.
Yeah, honestly, it is kind of terrifying how sophisticated these hackers are becoming.
It is. But AI is evolving right alongside them, right? AI can monitor systems like 247 for any unusual activity, potentially stopping a cyber attack before it even begins.
So it's like AI is like a digital guardian, constantly learning and adapting.
Yes. And here's where it gets really interesting, I think. It's not just the big banks using AI anymore. There's a whole wave of fintech startups, and they're using AI to really change the game entirely.
Fintech, okay. Yeah, we do a whole other deep dive on that. But how are they using AI differently?
Think about a company like Zest Finance. They're using machine learning to actually assess credit risk, right? Especially for people who might not have a traditional credit history. Imagine being able to get a loan based on your rent payments, even if you don't have a credit score. That's the kind of opportunity that Zest Finance is creating. with AI.
So it's about using data in smarter ways, more inclusive ways to make better decisions. That's amazing.
It is. And then you have on FIDO, they're using AI for identity verification. Think about all those times you have to upload your ID online, right?
Right.
On FIDO is streamlining that, making it much more secure at the same time.
Wow, this is incredible. It feels like we're on the verge of like a massive shift in how we think about finance. And honestly, it's about time. But like anything new, there have to be some challenges. Can't all be smooth sailing with AI, right?
You are absolutely right to be asking those questions. The potential of AI in finance, it's huge, but it's not a magic bullet. There are definitely challenges, and we can't ignore those.
So what are some of the things people should be aware of? Like, what are the potential downsides?
One of the biggest challenges, frankly, is cost. The sheer cost and complexity of implementing these systems, it is not cheap and it's not easy, especially for smaller institutions.
That makes sense. It's like trying to compete in Formula One, but you have like a go-kart. You're up against these institutions with these massive resources.
Exactly. And that actually leads right into another challenge, the talent gap. There's a real shortage of experts out there, people with the knowledge to develop and manage these AI systems for financial institutions specifically.
That's a really good point. I've been reading about companies kind of struggling to find qualified AI talent. Like, what kinds of skills are we talking about? What's in such high demand?
It's not just about understanding the algorithms, the really complex stuff. You need people who understand the technical side and finance, how complex that world is. It's like they have to speak both languages.
It's like a niche field within a niche field.
Yeah.
Sounds like the competition for this talent must be fierce.
Oh, you could say that again. And, this shortage, it has real implications. It means that some companies, they might rush to deploy AI solutions without fully understanding the risks, even having the in-house expertise to manage them effectively.
Yeah, and that could lead to some pretty big problems, couldn't it? I mean, what happens if an AI system goes, I don't know, haywire?
It really highlights the need for robust risk management frameworks, oversight. We need to be thinking about how to govern these systems, how to make sure they're used responsibly, ethically.
Okay, so let's talk about that, the ethical implications.
Yeah.
That's something I think a lot of people are concerned about.
And it's a valid concern because when you have systems, right, making decisions that affect your finances, your livelihood even, we have to be very careful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what are some of those ethical considerations that come into play here with AI and finance?
Transparency, that's a big one. Consumers, they have a right to know how AI is being used to make decisions about them, whether it's a loan application, an insurance claim, anything.
I completely agree. It should be a black box,
Yeah.
Where you have no idea why something happened.
Exactly. And then there's the accountability question, right? If something goes wrong, who's responsible? Is it the company, the people who built the AI, the financial institutions using it, or the people overseeing it all?
Yeah, those are some tough questions. It's like we're in uncharted territory here.
In some ways we are. And it calls for collaboration. We need everyone, institutions, regulators, even consumers to be talking about how we develop and use AI ethically, responsibly.
So it's not just about the technology, it's about how we choose to use it.
Precisely. That's where that's where it gets really interesting, I think.
Right.
Because we have this powerful tool, but it's up to us to shape how it's used and ensure that it benefits everyone.
Okay, so we've talked about challenges, ethical considerations, but let's zoom out for a second. What about the bigger picture? How else is AI going to transform finance, aside from fighting financial crime?
One area where we're seeing a lot of excitement is personalized financial services. Imagine, like AI-powered robo-advisors, they give you tailored investment advice based on your goals, your risk tolerance, or apps that use AI to analyze your spending, help you budget better.
That's amazing. It's like having a personal financial advisor in your pocket.
Exactly. And because these AI-powered services, they can operate at scale, right? It means financial advice can be more accessible, affordable for people who, maybe couldn't afford a traditional advisor before.
I love that. Democratizing access to financial services, leveling the playing field a little.
Precisely. And beyond these personalized services, AI is being used to improve, everything. Risk management, fraud detection, preventing money laundering, these all benefit everyone, consumers, financial institutions, even the entire global economy.
It really sounds like AI has the potential to make the whole financial system, more efficient, more secure, and more inclusive too.
It certainly does. But as we've been discussing, it's not without its challenges, its potential pitfalls. It's powerful and it requires careful thought, real consideration and a lot of dialogue to make sure it's used responsibly for the benefit of all.
Yeah. Like you said, not a magic bullet, but potential is huge, right? It feels like AI could really reshape the whole financial landscape.
And we're just getting started, really. As AI evolves, I think we're going to see even more innovative applications in finance.
It's exciting, but kind of daunting too, don't you think?
It is, but that's what makes it so fascinating right now. It's like technology, finance, even our values as a society, they're all kind of colliding.
Like we're writing the rules as we go.
In a way, yeah. And that's why we need thoughtful regulation, oversight.
Right, because we can't just rely on technology alone to, solve these really complex challenges. We need guidelines, ethical frameworks, and everyone needs to work together. Governments, industry leaders, the public.
Absolutely. It's about finding that balance. You want to encourage innovation, but you have to protect consumers too. We don't want to stifle progress, but AI needs to be used responsibly. It has to benefit everyone.
That's a big task. But it sounds like there's work being done, right?
There is. We're already seeing governments all over the world. They're starting to develop these frameworks for AI. Like the EU, they're working on some pretty comprehensive AI regulations. It's going to have a huge impact on how finance uses it.
Well, that's encouraging. Governments are taking this seriously, starting to create those, guardrails.
And it's not just about regulations, it's about education too, right? The more people understand AI, the implications, the better we can navigate all of this.
So true. Knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially with AI in finance. That knowledge, it can empower all of us, make better decisions about our money, advocate for better policies, hold these institutions accountable.
I love that.
Yeah.
It means we still have agency. Even in this crazy, complex world, we can shape the future of finance.
Exactly. And I think that's an incredibly empowering thought.
It really is. Well, I have to say, I've learned a ton. This deep dive has really been eye-opening. Exploring AI and finance, the potential, the challenges, it's a lot.
It's been a pleasure discussing it with you. You've clearly given this a lot of thought, and your questions have been great.
Well, thank you. I'm still trying to, process everything, But that's the beauty of these deep dives, right? They really make you think.
I couldn't agree more.
So as we wrap up here, any final thoughts for our listeners? Anything they should keep in mind as they learn more about AI and finance?
I would say stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay engaged. The future of finance is being written right now, and it's a conversation that, honestly, we all need to be a part of.
That is a perfect note to end on. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive on AI and financial crime. It's been amazing.
The pleasure was all mine.
And to all our listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope this has sparked your curiosity, inspired you to learn more. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those tough questions.